lang cabinet kabalalong hagkat waiter ko banay kalaling kot arajar arpulai kalarai ban menjur ya ke Meghalaya tourism policy arajar arpulai ke Meghalaya state organic and farming policy arajar arpulai drug reduction elimination act mission neke dream Meghalaya day award arajar arpulai Meghalaya advertising policy.
Today in the cabinet meeting, we had 13, sorry, 14, 11, we took up 11. Yeah, 11 agendas were taken up in the cabinet meeting today. And one was the tourism policy of 2023, which was passed today in the cabinet. Second was the Meghalaya state organic and natural farming policy. Third was the printing of advertisement policy. Adopting of the advertisement policy, the Meghalaya advertisement policy 2023. Fourth was the nominations for or approval for the Meghalaya Day Award 2023. Fifth was the Drug Reduction, Elimination and Action Mission, which we are calling DREAM. So these were the major agendas that were taken up. Other items were more or less regarding service rules and some small amendments in different service rules, some words to be changed, so which were very minor in nature. But these were the major points. And out of these, the main ones, of course, were the tourism policy, the organic farming policy, and the Meghalaya advertisement policy, and the DREAM project. The tourism policy that we've created, the idea is really to give a proper shape and structure to the overall tourism sector, keeping in mind the current situation that is there in the overall sector. Now, what we see is that things are happening in tourism. A lot of things are happening, but then this not happening in a systematic and structured manner. And the policy is basically meant to give a complete shape to the entire process in which we want the tourism sector to grow. And therefore, we have realized that we need to look at aspects of, say, for example, sustainability. We are seeing that in many parts of the world where we want sustainable tourism to be there are certain guidelines as to how people can visit or should visit certain locations. So, for example, in the Living Root Bridge, is it good to have 1,000 people standing on the bridge every day, or should it be controlled in some manner? So therefore, the policy will then define and look into these aspects on how to ensure that the sustainability of these kind of aspects. What I told you is just one part of it, but I'm just giving an example. There's going to be many, many aspects to it. So how do we make it sustainable, and how do we make it a responsible tourism? How do we ensure that employment generation and entrepreneurship is achieved? How do we ensure that the local people are involved in the entire process? How do community participate in this aspect? How will the use of technology be to ensure that we're able to promote tourism in the best manner? And also how the different departments will work together to ensure that at the end we are able to really synergize between the different departments and get the maximum output when it comes to the tourism sector in terms of livelihood and in terms of sustainability and all the other aspects that I have mentioned. So this is what this basic tourism policy looks into. And of course, to achieve these ideas and these goals that we have, certain areas will have to be focused on. So for example, we need to focus on creating the right infrastructure in many areas. That means rooms, that means roads, that means public facilities and utilities, so on and so forth. We need to also ensure that we're able to create better circuits, and we're able to improve the overall capacity of the people who are involved in the tourism sector. As you're aware, the last tourism policy was made in 2011, and since then the tourism industry and the sector has changed a lot, and hence we felt the need to improve it and adapt it to the current situation. This is a very, very detailed tourism policy where a lot of consultation has been done by the department, and we have come out with this. And we have also placed this in public domain already, so I'm sure most of you have seen it and have gone through it. The second very important policy was the Meghalaya State Organic and Natural Farming Policy. The idea was that though there is a effort towards going to organic farming, but a proper structured system, policy, certification agencies, different kind of programs, policies to be made and done, and actions to be taken were not really properly organized and properly put into a policy. So therefore, this particular policy will give a complete structure to how we would move forward in terms of our organic mission and in terms of organic farming in the state. Third, of course, is the Meghalaya Advertisement Policy 2023. And as you are all aware, because of the absence of this policy, there was a lot of ambiguity when it came to aspects of advertisement, especially for the press and media fraternity, and which caused a lot of delay in the payments. And therefore, this policy has come up after deep consultation with all the stakeholders, and it was passed today in the cabinet. The Drug Reduction and Elimination and Action Mission, which is a dream mission, which is again a goal and a target by the government to ensure that this particular aspect of substance abuse is taken up in a much more structured manner and in a mission mode manner. And hence, this will be worked by taking all different departments into confidence, and different aspects of rehabilitation centers, of giving counseling, along with working with the police department on how to ensure that the inflow is contained, and all other aspects that are to do with substance abuse have been worked out in detail in this mission mode program. And the objective, of course, is to make Meghalaya drug free. The tourism sector has to have the involvement of the private sector. Tourism sector cannot be run by the government. And the idea of us bringing this policy is to ensure that we're able to create livelihood. And in order to create the livelihood, without the people in the private sector being involved, it won't happen. So definitely, government, we've maintained, should not be in the business of running different programs. We should be providing, and we should be only facilitating the entire process, and the rest of the things should be run by the private sector. So, obviously, our target is to increase the overall, the contribution of the tourism sector into the GDP. It is, of course, I don't have the exact numbers right now with me, but it is below 10% in terms of the contribution to the entire GDP, state GSDP. So therefore, we are looking at more contributions. So obviously, if you look at the points that I have mentioned to you, so when we'll have more rooms coming up, when we'll have more overall, the guides coming up or taxis coming up. So obviously, all of this and flow of tourists coming in, different activities happening, all this will lead to the contribution and the revenue of the public as well as the government going up. And we obviously expect to see having a huge impact on the overall GSDP of the state. So numbers, of course, we don't have numbers because these are things which are not simple to calculate. It's very complicated. But definitely, the whole idea of having the structure and this policy is to ensure that the contribution of the sector is much more than what it is today.
Kublai Shibun.